Fantastic answer. I love hearing you for the last 6 minutes, Sanjeev. I think this is going to go viral. Again, the next one is something which is very, very common, navigating office politics without losing integrity. So office politics can be a minefield, and employees often struggle to find a balance between self-advocacy and authenticity. So a couple of questions there, Sanjeev, are how do I engage in necessary workplace politics without compromising my values? And is it possible to advance based solely on merit?
There are multiple facets in this question, Ravi. It's not as simplistic to say, oh, it is merit that takes me forward or not. Merit in what lens? Is knowing my job enough of merit? Maybe, maybe not. Right. I think the challenge with merit is we have a view of our own merit. But maybe that's not the only merit that is required for doing that job. Right? So we get very distracted with it. I'm meritorious and so is probably not as good, but they're getting promoted because they can play politics, and politics is necessarily a negative thing, and therefore we should not get involved in politics means absence of authenticity and all of that stuff. But actually, if you think about it, there is politics all around us. There is politics in family. There's politics in relationships. There's politics in the way the country is run. We don't operate without politics in everything that we do. And if we ask anybody, are you playing politics? No, I'm not playing politics. Right? Haven't we told our children when they were demanding something, some lies, to say, okay, you be nice to me, then you don't create a scene in the mall, and we'll go home and get you something else. What is that? Is it not politics? It's politics. Right? So I feel we need to first get detached from the negativity around politics and our assessment of politics as a bad thing. Politics is also an important aspect of life. It is existence all around us. So let's just accept that first. Now the question that you're asking, is politics important to progress, or can I progress on merit? And I don't think these two are independent of each other. Politics is also a skill. So let's talk about this, right? A country is governed by a politician, right? Is politics a skill in that role? Right? You would expect. Similarly, organization is led by a leader or a manager or whatever. They have to influence people to get things done. In other words, they have to have a political capability. Right? Now, how they deploy that skill is important. Their intent matters. And I think that's what people get confused with. Politics in itself is not bad as a skill. Deployment of politics for whose gains? My personal gains over others, or gains for the organization, or a common goal. That application differs, and therefore people think politics is always about personal gains. Actually not. Right? So can I grow without understanding politics? No. That's the reality of our lives. We have to not be starry-eyed about this. Because if you have to lead people, if you have to operate, you are a department head, there are 10 other department heads. You want something done for your department, you will have to navigate and influence. That's the game. That's how it operates. So it is not possible to operate. I know my job, which is to do A and B, and that's all I know, and therefore I can do everything. Then that is the only job I can do. Then I cannot be the manager of that. Right? So I think sometimes we get very distracted with it and get emotional in it, and we need to maybe look at it a bit more objectively. Politics is not all bad. Yes, there are people who apply it in a convoluted manner and manipulation happens and all of those things happen. So there is always a flip side to it, right? You have a knife, you can use it to cut food, you can also use it to stab somebody. That's the difference. Uh, Now, if you have to get into politics, do you have to lose integrity? Actually, not. And that's the best part about it. I can be who I am, say what I say, and still influence people, right? Because people will still judge me. We all judge everybody. Right? We cannot be in an environment where we are not judging others or others are not judging us. And that's an assessment process. I need to have that assessment to be able to make my decisions. So I don't really have to show. Let's take this example. Right? If I continue to play politics to gain some benefits out of this, to get brownie points as they say, right? After a while, everybody in the office finds out that this person cannot be trusted or will not stand on their words because they will change their word as soon as they find another opportunity and all of that stuff. Right? And how many times do you see them go forward after that? Right? So in the long run, and even if some people go, and let's assume that happens, not everybody can be like that. So the point is, I don't like them because they are going ahead, and I think they're going ahead by manipulating, let's assume. But can I be like that? Maybe not. I will struggle in my head if I try to be manipulative like that because every day going back home, I'll have this problem in my head. What am I doing? I didn't do a good job. And nobody wants to do a bad job in life. I have not met a single person in my life who comes to office to do a bad job, to play politics, to manipulate people. Nobody. Yet there is so much of negativity around politics. Everybody I know plays politics except me. Right? Every time you meet people, in India outside an office, there's always going to be a chai bandi. There will be people around it, and all we will talk about is that that manager is playing politics with that manager and everything else. But people who are having that tea, none of them play politics. They're all play, and that is an assessment that we need to challenge in ourselves. Right? So, from a politics perspective, I think a not viewing it as a completely negative, wrong thing, but using it to influence people. It's a very powerful skill. If I can influence more people, that's how I can be. But then I have to be authentic because people will only listen to me because they believe I'm authentic. Right? So it is important to be able to be authentic. That is the more courageous thing to do. Right? So I don't think there's dichotomy in this. It's just our assessment that politics is difficult and that is difficult. Sometimes I feel we like to use these situations to take out our frustration with challenges in front of us and how somebody else is able to navigate. Right? But it's a point that we need to challenge ourselves a little bit more.
Fantastic answer. I love hearing you for the last 6 minutes, Sanjiv. I think this is going to go viral.